Hi, I'm Rian, a Cyanotype artist, and let's do some experiments.
Thank you for joining me for part two of this little experiment that I'm running with all of my hoarded papers. As I'd explained in the first video, the next step is bleaching. So here I'm bleaching. I think it's the platinum rag actually. I think this one is what I'm bleaching. And I was really surprised by this one that it took a while to kind of start to lift. And I'd also explained in the first video that I don't like to fully bleach my prints. I like them to have a lot of the dark details still in them. Oh yeah, it's a platinum rag. And I got these blobs of bleach on loads of my prints. They're either like, um, they're either fingerprints or whatever. Yeah, and that was that big square Baohong paper. I'll go over all of the prints at the end as well. So you can see all the comparisons between the original print, the bleach print, and then when we do the toning, the toned print. So you can kind of see the evolution of the prints on the papers and, I don't know, decide whether that's what you want from your paper for your prints. See if that'll suit. I don't know, maybe it'll help. Maybe a complete waste of everyone's time. Um, so that's my favourite. I think that lifted really lovely. You can see a lot more of the detail in there. Um, so yeah, so for bleaching, I just use regular soda crystals. I can't remember what the proper name is right now. Anyway, I just use that green bag of soda crystals that you kind of can get in um, like supermarkets and stuff. Not all supermarkets. Wilkinson's used to be really good for that sort of like heavy cleaning kind of stuff. So anyway, so when I bleach, I quite like to bleach my prints until they start to get this like purple colour, and I wish they would stay that purple colour because it is amazing. I love it. That like aubergine purple colour. And you could see there how once it starts to oxidize again, it goes back to like the blue, kind of like the classic blue. The image in the grey um, tray, I mean, and then that one that I'm messing with there is the purple. I can see now where I was probably getting drips of bleach on my prints, and I just wasn't thinking. Although this one looks fine, but loads of my other prints had these blobs of yellow on them, so you'll see them anyway. Um, so this is the outcome of all of these papers, and then I'm going to kind of go over all of them in a bit more depth with the three images side by side at the end. So I won't like repeat myself. I probably will repeat myself. Um, but yeah, so these are the levels that I like to bleach things to. Obviously not the photo paper one because you can't see anything. Are you fed up of my dog yet? There's some yellow blobs on my platinum rag. So yeah, so these are just side by side, so you can see where we've come so far and what I mean by sort of lifting the print a little bit. Can you see like there's a bit more finer detail going on in the images? Um, yeah, how it kind of looks blown out in the first lot, the originals. I need to shrink that down. Um, and yeah, they're just, they just look a bit more like old fashioned photographs. Um, the those two, the two cartridge papers were just very thin. Yeah, they struggled a bit, and they also bleached really quickly. So the finer the the finer the paper, the quicker it bleaches. Just so everyone knows. So it's time to tone a bit. Um, these are the two yeah, I think I did all this out of order, to be honest with you. But honestly, this would be hours and hours of video if I was doing it all and you were seeing it all. You really don't want to see. So those two that I just put to dry were the two cartridge papers, the 150 and 130 GSM. And then this looks like a photo paper, so doing all the crappy ones first, geez. So yeah, the photo paper started to bubble there, and the first one, the 8-minute exposure, just disappeared completely. So yeah, so basically, for my toning bath, I just fill it up with hot water from the tap, and then get like a tablespoon of the matcha green tea powder, and I just sprinkle it on, and then I mix it up, and then I leave it for a little while to kind of try and sort of steep a bit. But with the matcha, because it is a powder and it is quite grainy, you do kind of have to keep mixing the bath, otherwise it kind of, the sediment of the matcha kind of like falls to the bottom, and if you leave the print in too long on top of that, it can tone unevenly. But I really like the matcha over like green tea bags, as I feel it doesn't stain as bad if you've got a paper that stains, and then it kind of tones this nice grey, especially if you don't tone to yellow. If you tone to yellow, it comes out really brown. So I feel it has like these lovely grey, green and blue tones in, if you don't bleach it completely. If you leave a bit of the blue there, you leave a bit of the, I suppose the detail, I find gets left. And so it's just got more depth to the image, I find. And it also, to be honest, like they don't look that different to my tricolour cyanotypes that I did in terms of like the tones and colours that you get from it. So it's just such an easier process to get images with these lovely colours and these lovely tones. I think they look like proper old images. And then I had this like microfiber towel that I got free from Craftelia, if you've ever heard of Craftelia. I think they're based in France. I've bought some We Are Makers. Is it We Are Makers? We Are. It's just a W-E, we, and an R letter for We Are. And they make, they do like button press machines. I've got a cinch, and I've got like a vacuum mold machine from that brand. So anyway, I buy those from Craftelia. They're a lot cheaper if you're interested in that sort of thing. So yeah, so I had this free towel when I spent a lot of money with that company, and they gave me this free towel, and it's perfect for I just like to sort of press my prints, dry them off a little bit, and I find they don't curl as much then when they're drying afterwards. I know a lot of people don't like doing that because they think it can get like dirt or whatever on the prints, but I find once they're dry, anything just kind of falls off. This is why I say I am not the person to follow if you're looking for technical information, because I will do whatever the fastest and easiest is, basically. I was really happy with this load of prints, and I'd done some other prints as well that I'd been collecting up after bleaching them, from because I wasn't happy with how my Cyanotype chemistry was doing. So I had a lot of bleaching and toning to do, and I was really happy with all of the prints pretty much. This coming now was a piece of fabric. I had, like over a year ago, like a year and a half ago, I'd bought a pack of like 50 cotton sheets from Jacquard, and I must have only used about 10. And so I think they're a bit oxidized now. They used to wash out white, And so anyway, I was considering adding the cotton fabric to this experiment, and then I decided not to. I decided to keep it purely papers and the artboard, which is more paper than anything else. So much as well, like how this isn't a really strict experiment. I mean, if I was doing a strict experiment, I would have bleached all the images the same amount of time or to the same point or whatever. And then I would have also toned them the same amount of time, but I was just toning them to the level that I like. And then like the bleach, when you're toning, you can tone to the level you want, even a little bit more, because washing will wash it off a little bit. So it's kind of like the opposite of bleaching. And then I also find when they dry, when they're toned, they dry a bit darker. So yeah, so these are all of my toned prints. You can see the two sort of in the middle to the right. I included both the 12-minute and the 8-minute exposed photo paper, and the 12-minute is on the left, where you can see a tiny bit of detail, but not much at all. And then the other one, it just completely washed all the information out and bubbled. So that was a shame. You can see like there's a real difference to all of them here. How much the paper took on, the toning, the papers that stained. And so, yeah, it's, you know, it's interesting how different the papers are. I think overall I found the Baohong papers were really absorbent, and so they actually stained. And so if you see those sort of those top, like the second one, the fourth one, and then that bottom big green one on the bottom left, they stained pretty badly. I probably wouldn't use those for toning as much as I did like them for the general prints. But I'm going to go over all of the prints anyway next. Be warned.